All right, everyone, Ryan Scholl here. Welcome back to my channel. So in the project today, I want to talk about how to automate the process of creating an investment newsletter. So if you work for some type of asset management company or investment manager, hedge fund manager, capital markets, whatever, you have to disclose to your clients what has been happening with the business for the past year or so, right? In the past 12 months, it could be issued at the end of December. That's pretty common. It could be in the middle of the year. There's no real like absolute requirement when the letter has to go out, but you want to communicate with the people that you work for. How successful has your investment strategy been, right? So there's a bunch of ways to create the investment report or the investment newsletter and share it with your clients. Let me show you an automated way that I think is pretty interesting and pretty innovative. Now, your needs might be slightly different, but I think this is going to touch on a lot of major parts of reporting how the business has been and sharing that knowledge and that information with all the people that invest with your firm. Okay, so why would we even do this? Basically, the number one reason: saves time and labor, right? Reduces mistakes, maybe completely eliminates mistakes 100%. I'll tell you just a very quick story. Years ago, I worked for a bank. They had me come in, create an automation process for a reconciliation team that worked out of Buffalo. I was in New York City. I think I was the only one in New York City. Everybody else was in Buffalo. It was like 24, 25 people. Bunch of accountants. They spent about 25, I think there's 25 people. They spent about 30 days out of the month doing the reconciliation, right? So they pull data from this source, from another source, from several other sources, reconcile everything, make sure that all the accounts tie together. And if they don't, you have to look for breaks. These are called breaks, right? So if there's a break between two accounts, was some account not funded, right? So you match up account numbers and see if there is any differences. If you subtract one from another and you get zero, there's no break. If you don't get zero, then there's a break, right? So these, let's say 24, 25 people, whatever it was, takes them about 30 days to do the job. I figured out what they did. I created a process where I could automate the entire thing. I wrote a bunch of scripts, pulled the data from all these sources, did some ETL, extract, transform, load, and did the reconciliation. So my process finished in about 15 minutes. All I had to do was click a button, okay? Click a button. I'm done in 15 minutes. I go into the office at 9 o'clock. My job is done at 9:15 a.m. Go into the desk at 9 a.m., done at 9:15 a.m. These guys, team of 25 or whatever it was, located in Buffalo, it took them 30 days to do what I did in 15 minutes. So it saves a lot of time, guys. That's the point. It saves a lot of time. They eventually found out what I was doing, and then they laid off the 25. Then I was going to, because they just took the code and just clicked it on themselves, right? So you have to be careful how you share this information too. Don't disclose too much information. Don't show your hand, right? Or your job is going to be eliminated. But number one, saves time, saves labor, eliminates mistakes. I think out of hundreds of billions of dollars I reconciled, at one point we couldn't account for 54 cents. That's it, guys, 54 cents, right? About half of a dollar out of hundreds of billions of dollars. And that's because two accounts had exactly the same account number, but somehow it was two different accounts. We couldn't really explain that. All the engineers, the architects, and the whole team, nobody understood how we had two separate accounts that had the same number. It's weird, but whatever. 54 cents was unaccounted for. Hundreds of billions of dollars was reconciled. Keeps clients engaged, right? So what's going on with the business? I need to know. I need to communicate and share my knowledge and my insights with the clients that is paying us a lot of money to manage these assets for them, right? Enables data-driven insights for the business, for myself, for my team members, things like that. Scales to hundreds or thousands of clients easily. 10,000 clients, boom, automate the process of creating the investment newsletter, shoot it out, and you're done. That's it. Okay, you can come into the office 9 o'clock in the morning and be done at 9:15. I'm not even kidding you, right? That's how these things can go. Now you have to probably look for something else to do. I started learning new tricks and techniques and started teaching myself some new programming languages, things like that, because I had a lot of free time on my hands, right? So the process, or the point is, you automate the process and then you can do what you want to do, right? You're not a slave to your desk. You don't have to sit at your desk. You can take 6-hour lunch breaks if you want. It's up to you. Integrates easily with CRM. This is customer relationship management, things like Salesforce, right? That's a big one. Dashboards, PDF generators. I could generate the final report in a PDF if I want to. I chose Word just so if in case you want to go in and make some changes or some modifications, Word is a lot easier to do that. There are ways to make changes in a PDF, but you have to sign up for their special package, right? And you have to pay a lot of money for that. I don't want to do that, so I'm just going to put that into a Word document. And basically, it's a foundation for smart recommendations, right? If we automate the whole task, literally all you have to do is just click a button, run it, and your job is done, guys. You can go home, or at 9:15, you're done for the day. And I mean, not just to save a ton of time, that's important too, but to eliminate mistakes. If you automate any process, the mistakes are gone, right? If you have a very manual, very tedious process, you could accidentally introduce mistakes. I'll tell you another funny story. I worked with another bank, totally different. Years ago, automated a process for another team. The guys on the team didn't trust the process, right? So they wanted to do it themselves. They're working long hours, 10 hours a day, literally 7 days a week. They would work Saturdays and Sundays all day, right? So working, what was that? 10 times 7, 70 hours a week. And they would come to me with the report every week, right? Working 7 days straight through. I would do the recon again, reconcile what they did to what I did. Every single time they had 10, 11, 12 mistakes, maybe 15 mistakes, at least 8 or 9 mistakes, right? And my report had none. And they said, "Why are you guys working 70 hours a week? I can do this." And it took me a couple of minutes to finish the process, to finish that recon. It was even smaller. And they kept working and working and working. And they would introduce mistakes into the report accidentally. This is not intentional, right? But accidentally, if a person touches something, you can create a mistake, right? It's just human nature, not intentional, it's accidental. I've seen people um, delete files, mission critical files, and transpose numbers into a spreadsheet, create all kinds of errors and mistakes. It's accidental. It's not intentional, but it causes the business a lot of money, a lot of time and frustration, and it's just not necessary, guys. Okay, you don't have to do that. So, anyways, so let's get into a couple topics here. So I create a small script here that goes to a Yahoo Finance news RSS index. So I can hit Control Enter. I'm going to get about, let me see here, it's running, these RSS lists are updated constantly, right? It's a perfect way to gather the news, but it's very dynamic, updating all the time, all day long. You'll always get less than 50 articles. They cap it at 50. In this case, I got 39 the last time I ran this was last night. I think I got 42 yesterday. But just within a couple seconds, you have access to all these news articles from Yahoo Finance, right? So it's what's going on in the United States, what's going on in the whole world, right? But you only have access to 50 articles. They cap it there. So I thought, what is a way to come up with how can I fetch more articles? How can I get more data, more news articles? Because 39 in this case, what was it, 38 or 39 or something? Just isn't a ton. 39 news articles is good. It's a good start. Okay, I got 39 there, but it's not a ton. Let's say I want 100, right? So I went to this website right here, news API org everything, and I can go ahead and put in an API key. I just signed up for the service yesterday. Literally, you can get this API key and you'll have access to the API endpoint. You can fetch data from the endpoint. And with this, you can get 100 news articles, right? So that's an improvement. Here, you can get the API key right here. You sign up, you just give them your email address and you're good to go, okay? So I put a link to that down here. This is news API ORG register. So you'll have that at the bottom of the Jupyter notebook. So go ahead and sign up for that service if you feel compelled to do so. So with this, I'm not going to run it because I need to put in my API key. I can't share that with you guys. It's personal, it's confidential. Can't get mine. You get your own API key, pop it in here, and you'll get access to 100 articles. So they kind of truncate it at 100, I guess. They looked into getting more, and it really didn't work out. But there might be a way to create a loop. Maybe you can get 100 now, come back and wait 1 minute, come back and get another 100. Maybe pause for 60 seconds, get another 100. I'm not sure. I didn't really dive too deep into this one, but I know there are ways to go out and get thousands of articles. There's different news feeds, there's different APIs. If you want to dive into it, by all means, go for it. I got 100 here. 100 feels good to me. Okay, I want to fetch these news articles, just include it in my investment newsletter that I'm sending out to my investors, right? So just generally news that's going on in the financial community, and share this knowledge with my investor base. Okay, So now these are the stocks that I'm actually investing in for my clientele. I'm the hedge fund manager, I'm a portfolio manager, asset manager, whatever it is, doesn't matter. You put in your tickers, go to this website right here, finviz.quote, and we can get information for these stocks right here. Quote, I think AAPL. Okay, if I put in Apple, this is going to give me access to the Apple landing page or whatever you want to call this thing. This is the page that has a bunch of financial metrics on Apple. Okay, so these are all fundamental indicators here or financial metrics. We have sales, book value per share, price of sales, price of book, price of cash flow, price to earnings growth, that's the PEG ratio, price to earnings right here, 33.53. So you have about 70 or so financial ratios, which are very important for the fundamental performance of a stock. So I have a video on my channel that talks all about fundamental analysis, and you can go take a look at that if you want. The other side of fundamentals, the flip side, is technical analysis. That's looking more at charts, indicators, movement, momentum, and stock prices. Is it going up? Is it going down? Has it hit the bottom and it's gonna trend up, or is it hit the top and it's going to reverse and come down, right? There's all kinds of technical indicators out there. I have another video on that. You can check that out. Now we're just looking at the fundamentals. So if I go ahead and hit Control Enter here, you can see I'm going to loop through this list of tickers. So I have a list of tickers: Apple, Cisco, Goldman Sachs, so on and so forth, Nike, Procter & Gamble, Walmart. Control F. You can see for all the ticker and tickers, I'm going to that base URL, appending the ticker symbol, right? If I go over here, base URL base. So for ticker and tickers, yeah, appending all the tickers to the base, right? We use this Mozilla agent as a header to try to tell this website, okay, this is a browser logging in. It's not not an automation process. Kind of tricking the system a little bit. Otherwise, it could say, well, maybe somebody's trying to automate the process, and we don't really want that. It could be a drain on the system. I'm only getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, maybe 12 or so stocks here. So it's not like slamming the system, but I am fetching these 12 stock, 12 stock tickers pretty fast and pretty aggressively. And I'm going to go ahead and create a flat list into a dictionary based on key value pairs to get the key value pair relationship, right? So that's why I'm running this line right here. That creates everything to a key value pair. And then I'm putting an index on that and appending everything into a data frame. So here's the process of downloading the tickers. Actually, still running. It's a little bit slow here. Actually, it goes faster. Maybe, well, my computer definitely is slow. This thing is old, and I don't know how much longer it's going to be with us. This computer might be removed from this world pretty soon because it's getting very slow here. But the problem might be on the server side, right? I'm the client. I'm hitting the server, finviz.com. Maybe they're getting slammed with traffic or other requests. I'm not sure. Okay, so it looks like we have our tickers here. If I scroll down a little bit, so we have Apple. The price earnings is 33.55. If I go back here, price earnings 33.53. It's off a little bit. I think they render this using JavaScript, and there could be a delay with the rendering, or the way the data is presented could be just slightly different. I'm not sure why that is off just a bit. Earnings per share 6.41. Where's my EPS? 6.41. That one's spot on. Let's just look at a couple others just for a quick sanity check. EPS next year, 8.36. Okay, where's my EPS? EPS next year, EPS. For PE, 27.67. Okay, so for PE, 27.67. There might be a slight issue with the way the data is rendered or how this JavaScript is rendering the page. I'm not too worried about it. These numbers tie out pretty close. But like I was talking about reconciliation before, if it is off by a penny or two, then maybe the data's going to be off by a penny or two. But we're still getting most of what we need. If I go down to ROA, return on assets, 29.10. Let me see if I can find that real quick. 29.10. 29.10, spot on. Okay, so it's pretty good. I think we found a couple pennies that were off, but for the most part, this is pretty solid. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the insider. I'm sorry, not inside. This is analyst ratings. Again, I'm using the same tickers. Okay, so here's my list of tickers from Apple to Walmart. If I put that up here, you'll see it's exactly the same. Right, Apple to Walmart. So everything lines up. Now I know what you're saying. I'm using tickers at the beginning, right? And I'm reusing this down here without saying tickers equals tickers, right? So this should flow from the prior step, right? So tickers should equal tickers. And honestly, guys, I'm using tickers over here again, right? If I do Control V, Control C, you can see it's again. It's just to illustrate the point. Okay, I know that I should be using tickers equals tickers, tickers equals tickers. I almost said tickle. Right, that's the way you should do it. Or don't even use tickers. Just comment out this line because it's referenced down here. Okay, so we don't want to reiterate the process. We don't want to have a lot of redundancies. You want to use it once and be done, and then reuse that object over and over. Okay, you want this to be very modular and not packaged in a way that is liable to cause problems, right? So the best practice is use tickers you set up once and then reuse that object or that variable over and over. I'm just illustrating the point. Okay, I know that, guys. I know that. So here's my list of tickers and the analyst rating. So if I go back to, oh, now it's showing me Microsoft. Okay, so Apple, I guess, is gone or whatever. It's within this list. I have 260 rows in this data frame with 6 columns. If I go look for Microsoft, they have 2025, 722 reiterated. So let me just look at this. MSFT. And then go down past the fundamental table, right? These are the fundamentals. I just explained that. So hopefully that makes sense. And then we have the analyst ratings down here. So July 22, 25, we have reiterated. So I'm not sure what that means. Reiteration means like repeat, I think, or status quo, same as before, nothing's changed, probably. So we have July 16, 16, July 29. So it goes in descending order of the freshest or the most recent rate. July 29, July 9, 2025, it says upgrade. Let me go back here. Reiterated. Okay, so you have Cantor Fitzgerald, Mizuho, Citigroup. Let's look at these. Citigroup, Mizuho, Cantor Fitzgerald. Buy, outperform, overweight. Okay, so that's what they're saying. So I say buy, outperform, overweight, and then we have 605 to 613. This is the price range, the target price range that this analyst would like to see this stock, right? If it goes above 16, 613 could be a buy. Go below 605 could be a sell. Not exactly sure what they're indicating by this, but that's probably the takeaway. These guys have a much lower valuation, 500 to 540, and these guys are a little bit higher, 512 to 581. If we go over here, I see the same thing, 512 to 581, 500 to 540, 605 to 613. Okay, so quick sanity check. I think it's working. I'm pretty confident that we've got what we need. So one more thing I'm going to get here. I'm going to fetch historical price data and calculate is the price up or down in the last n months. N is going to be determined by this. So the number of months is 12. This can be 6. This can be 36 if you want 3 years. If you want 6 months, that's fine. I'm going to do 12. I want 12. I think it makes sense in this case. This is 1 year of data. So Control Enter to run the cell, and you'll see that I've used the same kind of code a few times in my other videos. I'm going to Yahoo Finance, making a fetch to their API endpoint, pulling out historical data for the last 12 months, okay? So we have 1 year's worth of data. Then over here, check to see if the price is lower than n months ago. This is 12 months ago, so I'm looking at the beginning of the table, at the end of the table, and see what the change is. Then I also want to get the cumulative returns for all those prices, okay? So to get the cumulative returns is very easy, guys. It's one line of code. The final data is the data frame. I want the percent change of final data. So if I go Control F over here, final data comes from here. So literally just go there, one line of code, percent change, gives me the return, and the return over here goes here, Control F. You can see that flows down here. Cumulative returns is 1 plus returns dot cumulative product. So again, one line of code. That's why I love Python. It's so fast. Number one, it's very efficient. Even on my computer, it's pretty fast. And this thing is an old dog, but it's pretty efficient. With just one line of code, I can get all the returns. One line of code, I can get all the cumulative returns, right? And it's just very efficient, guys. That's why I use Python almost exclusively now. I still use Excel a little bit, but that's pretty rare these days. So anyways, we made the fetch to the API endpoint for Yahoo Finance. We got all the historical returns. That's what it looks like. Okay, so these are all the price points right here. N months ago, again, we're going back in time 12 months. That was 12 months ago. This is today. So it really didn't change that much. Price decrease or increase. What's this? 45, it went from 45 to 68, so price decrease is false. What's another example? 69 to 96, price decrease was false. 163 to 158, price decrease is true, right? The price decreased. So that's what we're looking at there. Up or down, that's what I want to know. And this is the cumulative return, 1.49 negative. Goldman Sachs, 51% return. And if we go over here, GS goes from 476 to 732. Price decrease, true or false, that is false, right? So that's why we have Goldman as an increase. 723 today, 476 before. If we go check Goldman on Yahoo Finance, it's exactly the same thing, right? Because I just pulled that. And they do have the updated price during the day. So it's real time during the day. And then closing price for any prior days, right? So you get the current price right now and then closing price before. So GS is right here. You enter. And what is this? That's definitely not Goldman. Let me see what it's doing. I think I have to wait for this thing to refresh. Okay, Goldman Sachs Group. That's such a cute name, isn't it? The Goldman Sachs Group. For all the pain that they cause and the personal anguish and the anxiety. That's really a cute name, guys. Well, yeah, but I think fundamentally these guys are pretty evil. So Blackstone, BlackRock, Goldman. This is slow. Okay, but we got what we want. So 722.94, and you can see this is updating in real time. I think the page is actually refreshing. It's so slow to load. It actually doesn't really finish loading or something. 722.90, and what did we get over here? 723. So it went up a little bit. You can see it's pretty dynamic, right? So again, we have historical prices, price increase or decrease, and then the percent return, and that's right here, right? So another would be Apple or Honeywell. Let's look for Microsoft, 20% return in the last 12 months. If I go back to Microsoft, MSFT, 20%, 12 months. And they do have the 1 year, so we should see that pretty accurately here. They'll give you like the, I think 1 week, 5 days, 1 month, 6 months, year to date, and 1 year. Okay, so if we go over here, 1 year, 19.28. That's what Yahoo Finance is saying. And I see 20.18. So pretty close. It's off by about 1%. So I'm not sure how they're calculating that. I'm doing it. I'll show you the code here. Return, cumulative returns -1 times 100. So that's how I'm doing it. It's pretty close, but it is off just a fraction. So I'm not sure how they're doing it, or if they're doing it based on the real time today, or maybe yesterday's closing price. I don't know how Yahoo does it, but it's pretty close. You can tell that. So now, based on all this information, I want to see what's the top 5 best performing stocks and the bottom 5 worst performing stocks. Okay. So here's the bottom right here. And I should have the top, right? I get the top and the bottom. Or is something just not updating here? Either thing could be. With this computer, it's like, not sure. Bottom five stock performers for last month. I should have the top 5 as well. I'm not sure exactly what's going on because I did this demo right before I turned on the recorder and everything worked fine. I've seen this several times. Like the computer works and it doesn't work, then it works and it doesn't work, doesn't work, and then it works. Let me look into this real quick here. Maybe something just isn't refreshing. So let me see something here. And this is all ad-libbed. I don't script any of this or plan any of this. Okay, and despite all the shortcomings here, the computer does do a lot. I mean, I ask a lot from this machine, so I know I know this thing is getting tired, it's getting old, but I feel like something just isn't refreshing because it worked yesterday, put this code together less than 24 hours ago. It worked. I tested it this morning, it worked, and now it's giving me some funky kind of result. Like the first part of the chart isn't rendering or something. I don't totally understand this. Maybe it's only showing the most recent, and I have to force it to show the top one or something. That's weird. Sometimes I've seen it happen. It only shows you the last thing that it's done and not the first. So let me try to force it. Okay, so I think that's okay. So here's the top performing stock. Goldman up 51%, Walmart up 38.3, and that's what we should see over here. Goldman GS 51%. Yep, and Walmart 38.2. Okay, that's exactly what we see here. The rounding is a little bit different. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. The worst performing stock is PG, negative 3.15, and then Apple, negative 1.49. So 3.15, 1.49 negative. Go down here, 1.49 negative, 3.15. So everything matches that, so we're good. So this is fantastic. Now we're at the point where everything is automated. All I would have to do is just run this code. And if I go down here to this cell, right here, click on here, and then go to run, I have run all above selected cell. So in different programs, different tools, different technologies, or different techniques, different solutions, whatever you want to call this thing, sometimes you click a button, sometimes you run all. In this case, we could run all. All you have to do is click this thing, run everything, right? And it is going to be automated for you. That's the whole point. Once it's set up and tested and debugged, we can hit Control Enter here. We are going to save those two charts that I just created above. So the up 5 stocks and then the bottom 5 or top 5 and bottom 5, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to save those two types of images. Okay, say Plotly chart as image, figure top, figure bottom. That's just what I'm calling it, right? So this is the top 5. This is the bottom 5. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a Word document and save that on my desktop. So if I minimize this, you'll see over here, this is my desktop. This is the solar eclipse. I've been using this image for a little while now, since the eclipse happened. I think it was about a year ago in New York City. It was about a year ago. So I'm going to save that to my desktop. So I'm saving these two images, and then I'm going to go ahead and create the investment newsletter, right? That's what we're doing. The whole process is to automate the task of creating this investment newsletter. And again, the stocks that we are investing for our clients comes from this list. These are the stocks that we think are going to perform the best. And we're sharing the final 12 months of performance with our investor base over here. So went ahead and saved the two charts. So if I go over here, they're actually saved in my default, what do you call this? Like default like folder, I guess. It's just a folder, it's all this. Default folder, so it's two charts are saved there. There's the top and this is the bottom. So I'm going to take these two images, copy and paste that into a Word document. Okay, here's the image. So you see the up, you see the down. It's so pretty, right? It's so pretty. And then I'm going to dynamically create the Word document, copy paste those two charts, and then copy and paste everything that we had before. Okay, so I'll kick this off just to run it. Control Enter to run. So everything is being saved down on my desktop. we goes to right here. So I have desktop, investment newsletter, final, DOCX. So again, remember, we took the two charts. Those were the last things. No articles found in news API response. That sounds weird. Oh, I know why that was. Okay, because I had to refresh that thing. I'll get that fixed up and get that working for you guys. But I know what that is. So anyway, we had the news articles. Those 100 news articles that we downloaded, right? So we have that. You have to put in your API. So you get the API from here, right? When you pop that in, that's the only thing you're going to have to change. And then if you want to, by all means, like go ahead and change these stocks. You can put anything you want in here. You can change these 12 or 14 or whatever this thing is here. Change that, and then change the time that you go back over time, right? If you want 2 years, if you want 3 years, if you want 6 months, you change these variables, but there's only a couple of things that you have to change, just a handful of things. Then just run the process, and your stocks are going to be calculated based on the historical returns, right? All the stock prices. Is it up? Is it down? And N months that you choose. I chose 12 months as my N. You can choose anything you want. It could be 18, 24, 36, whatever you want. And everything is saved from the up and down, the top 5, bottom 5, the investment news, those 100 articles that we downloaded at the beginning. That was the first thing that we did. Everything is saved into this Word document automatically and almost instantaneously. I can't say on my computer it's instant, but this is pretty fast. So it's going to put these two charts in here. And then we have all of the price movement summary, right? So that's Apple, Cisco, Walmart. So everything we have there, these are the top 12 months, right? And the top news headlines. So that didn't actually get updated here because I refreshed the memory just before I turned on the video. And I can't give you my API. Obviously, it's personal and confidential, but I can guarantee you this thing will work once you get your own API key, copy and paste it into the Jupyter notebook here, and you'll have everything you need. And just to prove one more time that this thing does work, I will go and run the process one more time so you can see that there's nothing on my desktop, right? Refresh this, Control Enter, and minimize this, and you'll see the Word document show up. Okay, and I can go ahead and open it. Now, I'm not sure why it doesn't look like a Word file. It's kind of weird, but it opens as a Word file, and it has all the features of a Word file, so I'm not sure why the icon isn't displaying as Microsoft Word, but everything else, it looks fine here. So let me shrink this down. So there's the charts, right? The top 5, bottom 5. Here's the performance for the securities we're invested in, and then there's the 12-month return, right? And the news should be at the bottom. Again, apologize for that. I refreshed the memory, wiped it out, right? So you don't have that. But when you get your API key, you will have that. I can guarantee it, okay? So that's pretty much it. I'm going to export the code right now. I'm saving this as an HTML file. You can download the HTML file and again, change the number of months that you go back in time, change the securities that you put in for your investments, of course, and create your own automated newsletter with the news feeds and everything, copy and paste it perfectly into this Microsoft Word file, and then share that with your customer base or your investors, right? And this takes, once it's set up and working, and you might have to customize a couple of things. Again, the number of months you go back in time and securities that you're picking. But when you run the process, guys, this is like 2 clicks. You hit this. Okay, this is exported. So I'll get that. I'll share the code with you guys when I post the video later. Run all above selected cell. That's all you have to do. It runs everything from the top to the bottom, and you're done. You're done. You get done, guys. You can go to work at 9 o'clock. You could be done at 9:15, just like I used to do with my job. Although I'll admit it gets a little bit monotonous after a short time. Like at the beginning, it's kind of cool. Yeah, it takes me 15 minutes to finish my job each day. But then you have to fill the void with something, guys. You have to find some task or some like something to do, right? You can't just sit around twiddling your thumbs all day long. But the task is automated, right? You have your investment newsletter that you can send out to your clients, and that's it. Relax, take it easy. That's it. That's literally it. So I'm going to wrap up the video. At this point, I am going to share all the code with you. When I drop the video file, I'll drop the code with that, and you'll have everything you need. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it, and I will see you very soon when I post the next video. Goodbye for now.